Hey everybody, how are you? Thanks for joining me. Thanks for clicking on my video. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the notifications bell before you go, okay? So I was in bed. It's almost 1 a.m. and I was in bed and I felt compelled to do a video. So here I am, and the thing that I was thinking about was societal conditioning and the ego, and how when we're born, we come only with love. And the only part of the ego that exists, the only part that was ever intended, the only part of the ego that was ever intended to exist was for purposes of the fight or flight response of human, which essentially is fight or flight is essentially the I guess the trigger in your brain and your body, both, that tells you whenever you're in a situation that is life-threatening and you either need to flee, which is the flight, or you need to stay and fight and defend yourself. So the way that we are conditioned through school, our environment that we grow up in, our friends, the area of the country that we live in, how diverse or not it is, all of these things have to do with causing the ego to be much more inflated than it should be. And by that, I mean to say that because the ego was specifically there for a fight or flight response, it grows as we grow and as we, evolve from children into adults. And so essentially we're just a summation, the total sum of our experiences in a lifetime, right? So that's why everybody is so unique and different, and there's no two people alike. Just like there's no two exactly alike. There's no two people exactly alike, just like there's no two identical strands of DNA. Even twins have different strands of DNA, right? So it's the same concept that I'm going with here, in that as we grow up throughout life, and we continue to age and learn, and we become more independent and whatnot, we collect these conditioning, these things that society says are acceptable, are common. One thing that comes to mind is that God didn't want us all to be common. He didn't want us all to be the same as the next. There are some of us that were meant to conform, and some of us that weren't meant to conform. And the reason we were meant to conform or not to conform has to do with our path and the evolution of society, of humanity, which is not something that's going to happen for us completely in this lifetime. I realize that I may not see I'm certain I probably won't see the completed task in this lifetime, which is okay, because due to reincarnation, I have the choice to come back and reincarnate again to learn more lessons, or to assist further. So we're conditioned by society to think that we have to behave or dress or speak or act in a specific way depending on the group or the job or the geographical region that we live in, or the school that we go to, or whatever we're talking about here. This is where a lot of the need for living above your means, in the sense that you're house poor, or you like to buy expensive items, and and show them off and brag about them and act and believe that you're better than the next person just because they don't have them. Well, did you ever think that they don't have them because they don't need them? Or did you just assume that they don't have them because they can't afford them? I'm somebody who, I mean, I've been in the store many times and I'm like, oh, wow, that's a nice bag. But I just am not interested in having a bunch of name brand stuff. I never have been. I just don't think that I don't think it really has any value, because my point here is that I believe that whenever we come into this life, we come with what I just said in the beginning of this video, love. And I believe when we leave this lifetime, we do so only leaving behind our memory. So it doesn't matter what kind of bag you had, what kind of shoe you had, what kind of car you had, how big and fancy your house and your jewelry was. That none of that's going to matter, because people aren't going to remember you for being this wealthy person. They're going to remember you for the qualities that you projected in your lifetime. Were you a good mother? Were you a good employee? Were you a hard worker? Were you respectful? Were you loyal? Were you loving? Were you generous? Were you accountable, appreciative? These are the qualities that people are going to remember us for when we're gone. They're not going to remember 10, 20, 50, 100 years from now when we're looking back at the ancestors. Oh, look, this was your great, 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 great grandmother. What's that, like 200 years ago or more? So we really need to be putting our time and our effort and our energy into things that will essentially give us more recollection value. Is that proper? I'm sorry. I was in bed. I apologize if I said that wrong. But basically, I mean for the memory of the loved ones who we leave behind, whether it's children, siblings, parents, whatever it is. Those people will need to have memories of you. And I'm sure that, I know I want all of my memories of my parents and my children and whatnot to be positive ones. So assuming that you're the same way and you want to have those good memories left behind, then we need to live the life of someone who can be remembered well. Someone who, maybe she wasn't the prettiest, maybe he wasn't the richest, maybe she wasn't the smartest, or he wasn't the most loyal, or whatever the case was. Maybe they weren't, but they were this. Oh, but they were a great parent. Or, oh, but they were very giving and generous with their time and any resources that they did have. It's important that we leave something behind for those that love us to remember us in good memory with, because when we're dead, we're gone. But whenever they're still here, they're still left with the burden sometime that we can leave behind. And, oh, well, yeah, it was my mom, but she was never there for me. Or, yeah, well, my brother was always beating up on me and he was always jealous of me, so he never treated me nice and pushed me away all the time, left me for dead. Things like that. We don't want to leave those burdens on our family, right? We don't want to leave our children behind, or our grandchildren behind, only to be bombarded or haunted, if you will, by the memory of a mother or a father or a grandparent, because they were not the kindest person, or because they were, or because we were not the kindest person to them or to others. And now those children or grandchildren are being basically handed the buck. The buck is being passed right to them to say, you know what, you're part of the family, the bloodline, so you're, as far as I'm concerned, you're just the same as they are. Whenever really you could be the first of your family to graduate college. You could be the first of your family to win the lottery, make a very large donation or a very generous community contribution. But they can't see that because of what the older people, the mother, the father, the grandparents may have left behind, which is a name, a memory, a reputation, right? So it's my very strong belief that I've been guided to bring this message to someone or many people at this hour. Hopefully Spirit's going to let me go to sleep soon. But if anybody has any questions, any comments they want to add, anything like that, please do so down below. I'm working on getting some things together for this channel because everything is intuitively guided. I don't know exactly where it's going yet. I kind of see a vision every now and then, but I'm still going through my spiritual journey as well. So I'm still growing in my abilities psychically, and I'm very busy in the third dimension reality that I live in. You know what I mean? I have kids, I have things to do. So I'm really trying to just wait it out and see what is in store before I start putting a whole bunch of stuff up that I then later have to take down, because I've really learned this year, and just really a lot, like very deeply over the last couple of months, that over the last few weeks, it's been crazy. Like, wow, I can't believe these synchronicities and the alignment and the divine timing of things. And so I'm really just trying to see how everything unfolds. So until I get a clear, like a solid view of exactly what's going to happen with this channel, because I have like 15 different things that I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to work on that, but let me just take it one step at a time, because I have so much going on in my life. And if I try to add too much more, then it just causes a lot more confusion. And then it causes me to get overwhelmed. And then here I am procrastinating, which I literally loathe. I loathe procrastination. Like, I have always been a person that is very on point with, if I say I'm coming at 2, I'm probably going to be there at 1:45. Or I'm going to call you by 1:45 to let you know that I'm running a few minutes behind because of traffic, whatever the case is. Like, I'm very on point, and it used to be a very big frustration for me to make appointments with people, and they neglected to mention that, say it's at their doctor's office, they neglected to mention that they're running an hour and a half behind before I got to the office. Like, hey, Reagan, we're running about an hour and a half behind today at the doctor's office. Unless you have time to wait, you might want to reschedule and not waste a trip over. How freaking difficult was that? I mean, how many patients could you possibly have to call in an hour and a half time span? Not that fucking many. You know what I mean? So why do I got to get right here in front of your face and sign the paper and wait for 20 minutes to find out that I'm not going to get to be seen today, because I got to go to work in an hour and it's going to take me 30 minutes to get there. So I got about 15 more minutes. Do you think I'm going to be seen in 15 more minutes? No. Well, then you could have saved me a 20-minute drive and a 45-minute frustration right here in your office, right in your motherfucking face. So next time, put me down as that bitch you better call if my appointment ain't going to be on time or somewhere close to it. Thank you. Like, really? Like, I used to get really frustrated with stuff like that, but now I'm more inclined to think, okay, wait a minute. I understand what this is. This is a test. This is a synchronicity. This is a divine timing. There's a reason why I'm here. Or before, I would have just stormed off and left and been like, screw that place. I probably wouldn't have made the appointment with them again. But now I'm like, okay, well, I really need to have this appointment. Let me see what I can do. Well, I can't do it, so I'm going to have to reschedule. What's your next soonest available appointment? And this ain't going to happen again. So are you busiest in the afternoon? Well, give me a morning appointment, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, I'm that person. Well, I don't know. Are you busy that morning? Are you busy that afternoon? When are you not going to be busy? How about that? I come at midnight if you want me to. I'll be right in or right out because your ass want to go home and go to bed, right? Okay. Anyway, I don't want to get too worked up. I feel very energized right now for it being 1 a.m. And I have a busy day tomorrow, so hopefully I'm going to be able to sleep at some time soon. It was a pleasure chatting with you guys tonight. Thank you so much for watching my video. If I or my message resonated with you, please be sure to like, give me a thumbs up on this video. It really helps me to get the messages out there that I'm posting, and also, you know, increase the awareness of people around us. So help me by clicking that like button, that thumbs up, and subscribing to my page, and help me build my channel. And I do appreciate your help, and I look forward to hearing your comments and seeing you again. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a good night.